I'm Joe Sanak, your host, and welcome to the Practice of the Practice podcast, where we help you build a thriving private practice you absolutely love. I am so excited to hang out with you today. We help you build that thriving private practice. So, thinking through what it takes, the operations, the money, the networking, the marketing side of it, all those things that we didn't learn in graduate school. But we also, on the other side, want you to love it. We want you to show up and say, I can't believe this is the impact I get to make. I can't believe that I get to see these types of clients. If you've been following my client journey, I started Great Lakes Online Counseling about 12 weeks ago. And we just in episode 1353 talked about week 11 of that. The next episode is going to be week 12's summary. If you haven't been following that journey, I decided that I wanted to get back into kind of the counseling world, not for me doing counseling, but just as an owner operator. And so I've set some boundaries around that to kind of show that what we teach here works, hopefully, and that I'm spending only 2 hours a week building this business, talking through all the ups and downs, the early filings, the hirings, finding clients, all of that, all the things that are easy and all the things that are tough. And already it's been really interesting for me to just kind of go back to those roots of saying, I haven't had a counseling practice in a long time, and let me get back into it. And some of the hiring things have been frustrating. Some of the communication things with people applying for a job have been frustrating. Some of the marketing's been frustrating, but it's given me eyes to just go back to, hey, I'm learning things from so many great people, and I can pull from these skills that I've kind of learned in over a decade of podcasting with people. And that brings me to our guest today. Andy Crestodina is with us, and exactly 1,300 episodes ago, he was on episode 56 of the Practice podcast. In the very first 100 guests and interviews, when I was first getting started, I remember reading his book. It was one of the very first marketing books that influenced me and that really kind of stuck with me. That book, The One Thing, was another book that really stood out to me. And there's a handful of others, Guerrilla Marketing. There were ones that when I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about SEO. I was starting from ground zero and had no idea what I was doing. Andy's book was a virtual mentorship, and then I had him on the show. And I still remember feeling this power of a podcast to say this person whose book I read and that I really look up to, I'm now actually talking to. And I think that's where, as we dig into this world, sometimes these people we look up to and that we learn from aren't as far away as we think, and that we can have those connections and we can learn and we can hire them or we can bring them on podcasts. So I am so excited today to have Andy Crestodina back on the show. He's the co-founder and CMO of Orbit Media, an award-winning 50-person digital agency focused on web design and web optimization. Over the past 25 years, Andy has provided digital marketing advice to over 1,000 businesses and has written 600 plus articles on content strategy, SEO, GA4, AI, and visitor psychology. And these articles reach more than 3 million marketers every single year. Andy, welcome back to the Practice of the Practice podcast.
1,300 episodes ago? Wow. I love it. Persistence is omnipotent. Good,
Yeah.
great
And we're
job.
still young men. Look at us.
Yeah, still going.
Still going strong. I love it. When I see people who I interviewed early on, when I just, didn't really, not that I know what I'm doing now, but when I really didn't know what I was doing, it's great to see those names because like I totally remember the excitement of
Mhm.
interviewing you, of talking about marketing and SEO, and just being like, man, there's this whole world that would apply to therapists that we are never taught about. And so
Mm.
thank you for being one of those very first guests that said yes, that made me feel like, oh my gosh, I think I have something here.
Honored to be a guest then, and honored to be back today.
Yeah, well, Andy, so a couple things may have changed in a decade of marketing. A couple things have changed in the last month of marketing. When you think about just marketing in general, what have you seen shift?
Channels have changed. There's a new channel, of course. People are using AI to research options. Uh, Formats have changed. We went through COVID when the live format kind of died. I mean, all kinds of stuff have changed. There's a new version of analytics since then. There's social media has changed. Website blog comments died somewhere during those 10 years. But actually, a lot of things have not changed at all, such
Mm,
as the questions your future patients and prospects are asking about it probably hasn't changed a lot. The fact that people need information, the fact that people that trust is built in certain specific ways. People need answers. Some of the most important things really have not changed, and I don't see them changing anytime soon.
Yeah, that kind of human nature of just what it means to have a relationship and trust someone for
Hmm.
therapy isn't going to just disappear. That those longings and hope for change is still a
That's
part
right.
of why people make decisions to work with us.
Yeah. Human psychology hasn't changed a bit.
Now, if you think about when you see someone that starts working with you or that, maybe you see their work, what do people do wrong that they think is right in the marketing world?
Well, I'll start with the end of the experience. This is after they've maybe heard about you or done some research. They're considering you as an option. No, they land on the site. Many sites fail because in the first few seconds, they don't tell the visitor that they're in the right place. So being very specific and explicit and descriptive in at the top of the homepage is something that's missing from a lot of websites. I just did a webinar where there were tons of examples of sites that were just very unclear. Like, what does this company do? And so people get too clever. That's a common problem. The most prominent visible thing at the top of these key pages should be explicit about what the page is here for, and confirming why you have a visitor. Past that, I think I've never seen a web page that didn't have giant gaps, and lots of pages sort of fail to answer the key questions that people have. So in private practice, I mean, it might be, how soon can we get started? Have you helped people like me? How long will this take? Is there a commitment? Whatever people ask you during the sales process, that's basically what your pages need to have. The highest performing pages on the internet sort of emulate a sales call. And so there's just lots of confusion over clever content, just lack of clarity around those key things that someone needs to see before they're willing to click on a call to action and schedule an initial consultation.
So I think that I see that all the time, the getting too clever. People thinking like, they have too many metaphors. And when it comes down to it, you're doing counseling for people that are depressed. You're doing counseling for kids that have been through trauma. And to just really make that very clear from the top of the page.
Yeah, it's something that I think we still have kind of a hangover from some of the things that we learned in just as Business 101, which is focus on the benefits of what you do. But remember, you're in a hyper competitive context. The internet is filled with options, and so yes, talk about the benefits, but you can't. But leading with the I know Simon Sinek, start with why. But web pages, it's a really special context, and I think it's really important, not just for humans, but for search engines, to train AI models to recommend you, to just state upfront, clear, specific, and in as few words as you can what you do in this world.
So really just having that lens of being super clear at the beginning.
Mhm.
If we start with kind of some of those basics of what does content look like now, how much should people be thinking about blogging, or kind of organic content, then we can move into more advanced strategy. But what are some of the just building blocks that you would say every therapist website needs these 3 to 5 things when they're thinking through just growing their website presence?
Yeah, there are special formats for content that do things that are not possible through typical blogging, and that is the content that aligns again with sales. I want all of your practices to grow. So the sales focused, they call it sales enablement content, content that tells a story about a result. It could be a case study or success story. That content is definitely bottom of funnel, bottom of the marketing funnel, closest to the action and decision of your visitor or user. So I would first write the things that help that tell your story and make your case, and talk about impact and transformation and personal stories. Past that, there's two formats for content that are very special and tend to outperform all others. One of them is taking a stand. Strong opinion, counter narratives, spicy hot takes, much more memorable than lots of other content. Also, something that AI can't create. So AI doesn't have any opinions. AI doesn't care about anything. So when you take a little stand, even on something relatively minor, it can make a big difference. The second format for content that is all powerful and outperforms all others almost always is new original research. So if you've worked with 500 patients, and you can analyze that and come back and say X% of patients have, like, to publish data. Make your website the primary source for new information. Find a statistic. That's going to capture the attention of bloggers and editors and sometimes even journalists. So that's a huge advantage. So those two formats, I do sales enablement first, and then strong opinion and original research to whatever extent you can do it, and then move up toward the top of the funnel, kind of higher, like lower intent topics. And there's where you have to get really visual to keep the person engaged because attention's scarce. And I've been telling people, and I really believe strongly in this, the more you make your content look like a social media stream, in other words, a visual at every scroll depth, multiple points of view or contributor quotes, embedding little videos throughout, being very punchy and direct. Social media streams are literally addictive. There's many of our listeners know. Some may do counseling on these topics, but it's also a powerful clue into the structure of content that is highly engaging. So lots of formatting, lots of visuals, lots of points of view, contributor quotes, collaborative content, and drop in a video wherever you can.
It's interesting as you talk about kind of story, data, and then like just making it more addictive feeling. It reminds me of the book Talk Like TED, where he looks at the top 200 TED Talks and what do they all have in common. And 40% of it is story, 40% of it is data, and then the last 20% is like, here's what I think. That it's actually not like 100% TED Talk is just Joe sharing. It's looking at story, looking at data, and then bringing it together. And it's interesting when I see all these different areas, whether it's talks or web pages that still mirror that in people's brains. I want to go back to story. So you said impact, transformation. What else makes a good story on a website, specifically for a therapist?
Well, the elements of stories should be used whenever possible, and one of those is characters. So putting yourself into your content, being a human, showing yourself. We said personal perspectives and points of view. Those are all things that can make a difference. Now, in these special, unique formats of content, the success story or case study, there you're trying to show the transformation. Contrast is a very powerful way in which humans see the world and understand things. So human brains categorize things that are categorized into before and after, or light, dark, strong, weak, these things. So if you can structure a story so that it takes the person through the context and then the conflict and then the attempts to solve and then the outcomes and the resolution and the new bliss, as Nancy Duarte would say, this is drawing that contrast between status quo, what life is like today, you're in pain, and the new bliss, freedom, security, you've overcome these obstacles in your life. If you can make it clear, nonprofit sites are very good at this sometimes. If you can make it clear how there's a transformation that happens, and just do so through simple personal stories and plain language, that helps the user imagine themselves. We can't rely on our prospect's imagination. You have to make it pretty concrete so that they can really see themselves in this process and become far more likely to start a conversation.
Yeah, I think that see themselves in the process is so important. When you think about go back to the social media post style. Imagine we have a therapist. So actually, I won't say imagine. So I launched Great Lakes Online Counseling. We're growing that website. If you were to walk me through, okay, Joe, here's how I want you to do your blog posts and the main focus is people post-divorce. So we're covering dating after betrayal. We're talking about co-parenting, single parents that have primary custody. So a lot that mirrors my own life and things that I already know from going through a divorce, having primary custody. I wrote a new book, Dating After Betrayal. And so that's the theme of it. How would you think through some of these blog posts to enact that sort of style?
Yeah, that's a really great example. So there's blog posts that are just content marketing, and it's something to put in your social streams and send it as an email and keep your website, having a pulse. The case study of the success story is actually much more sales focused and is helping the reader imagine themselves in that moment. Uh, Either way, the structure of these pieces should probably be, as I said, subheads, bullet lists, bolding, italics, internal links. All content should be connected to other content. If it mentions a service that you offer, that should link to that page so the person in that moment can go deeper into your funnel and land on the money page. But that is, but what you'll have to do in those cases is to first make an immediate connection. You were transparent guy, Joe. I love it. I love you for it. And you could just lead with that an anecdote or a quote or something that hooks. You need a strong opening hook, and the personal hook is often a very, very good one. But as the person flows down the page, attention is so challenging to hold on to. You could think of it this way. The first paragraph's job is to get the reader to go to the second paragraph. And the second paragraph's job is to get the reader to go to the third paragraph. I said reader, they're probably scanning. So that's why short paragraphs and bullet lists and contributor quotes and statistics really help the scan reader keep going. We can't expect people to read every word. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, I'm happy to share, I have AI audits for these things where you can take an article, give it to AI with this audit prompt, and it will rate the extent to which you used visuals and you used formatting and you used internal linking and you put your personal points of view in there. It's kind of a fun way. There's ways to use AI that have nothing to do with writing. They're just for auditing and editing. But that I mean, you've got a book, so the content strategist in me is suggesting that you turn the whole thing into a PDF, upload it to AI, and then start having conversations with the AI about things that you can pull out of there as really compelling, sharp messaging around the impact, connecting it back to the story. People who have books have very special opportunities for content marketing.
Awesome. So it sounds like for those that are listening, one thing that they could do is to think through a specific area, maybe even write a 50-page ebook on that specific area, and then once they've gathered their thoughts, use AI to kind of chop it up into just like a different piece of content.
Yeah, I would not recommend taking book excerpts and using them whole cloth as articles. The book you wrote doesn't have a back button. The web page you're publishing, the article you're publishing does have a back button. So attention is just a cutthroat blood sport online. It's very competitive. So that content should be adapted. And I gave an example of how AI could help with that. It could both, as a content strategist, identify topics and headlines and outlines pulled from the book. You could even ask the AI to help you align them with top, middle, or bottom of the funnel. How close is this person to considering you? But then also that little audit will show you. I mean, if you just give it a chapter of a book and run that audit, it'll tell you that the page lacks basically all the things that align with content performance.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn. You've got a LinkedIn newsletter. Tell me about kind of the focus of that, what people are learning from it, why that's one of the top kind of lead generators for you, and then maybe we can apply that to therapists as well.
Yeah, a couple of things we said kind of point us in that direction. One is the general idea of content strategy and top of funnel content. Another is the 3 million readers we reach per year. It's around 3.5 million, and about 3 million of those are on LinkedIn. So it's just, and also I mentioned blog comments are dead. On-site, website, blog comments don't really happen anymore. The engagement is on LinkedIn. And this is different. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm a B2B brand, so I'm not sure how applicable all this would be. But the idea is that if you go to where your audience is and publish there, you have a chance at discovery, because there's an algorithm that will promote it to people that are interested in that. So discovery is more likely to happen. The goal after you're discovered is engagement, and mostly these days, of course, that still means trying to get the person to subscribe. LinkedIn is a super low friction subscription mechanism. You just click to subscribe. It already has your email address. In other channels, it's a bit more difficult. They have to reach all the way to their keyboard, which is a long distance. To get the person to move from their mouse to the keyboard is like a million miles. It's hard to do. But generally, yeah, the strategy there is to repurpose content we published other places. It's not an either or. We copy and paste the content into that platform. That platform handles all of the delivery. It's like a Substack, it's like the same kind of thing. I'm not sure if Substack's great for and discoverability because it's not a giant platform with millions of people, hundreds of millions of people that are there looking at a stream. But it is our LinkedIn newsletter is simply called Digital Marketing Tips. There's a reason for that. Boring name, as I said earlier. It's about descriptive. Be descriptive, be explicit. The visitor who sees that headline should know that this is for them. I don't want to get too clever. We already said it. I don't want to be clever. I'm not, what's Andy thinking about this week? No. It's digital marketing tips. So when you see it, it answers the question, is this for me? I'm a digital marketer. Yes, it's for me. And that content, if you look at it, it's on my personal account, which we can share. I'm Andy Crestadina. If you go there, you can find the newsletters. Tons of engagement, very visual, practical tips. We mix in research. It's step-by-step stuff. But yeah, it's all those topics you mentioned in the intro, and it's a wonderful way to grow the brand. I don't think of it as performance marketing. I'm never trying to generate leads from that directly. There's an important distinction between brand marketing and performance marketing. Performance marketing has metrics. You're trying to get outcomes, attract and convert visitors into leads. Brand marketing is just being in the world, increasing awareness in general. But it has super powerful indirect benefits. Most of our leads say, I've been reading you for years. You probably hear that a lot yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny when I do a pre-consulting call, it'll be like, yeah, I've been listening to your podcast for 10 years and I finally decided and I dreamed of working with you someday. And it's always like, oh, you sound the same on the phone as you do on the podcast. It's like, yeah, I try not to use a performance-y voice. It's just me being me. Now, I have just some kind of logistical questions. So on LinkedIn, there's like write a LinkedIn article. There's just posting. Where is the newsletter thing? Is that just like another option, or is it officially put through your business that you're doing the newsletter? Or like, I'm not familiar with the LinkedIn newsletter, like where it is.
A LinkedIn newsletter is, I think, only available to premium users. If you go to write article, and which is I think $15 a month or something. If you go if you click on write an article and you don't have a newsletter, or even if you do, it'll be in the top right, start a newsletter. And then there's just a little box where you'll just put in some basic stuff, including the name and the description and the frequency. I think you can choose weekly, biweekly, or monthly. I don't know if there's a daily option. Who wants to publish daily anyway? And then it will immediately promote that or make it available to all of your connections and followers. So you may get 500 signups in the first day. It's kind of amazing. And then you're committing to, when you go in to write newsletters, those are you go to write article and you're going to make the article. And when you're done, you can you click, whatever, finish, and then it gives you the opportunity to write a social media post for it. That's going to appear in social streams, and I think that's also what appears in their inbox if they open the email in their inbox. And then some people can subscribe and not and just get it as a notification on LinkedIn, or people can subscribe and have it sent to them as an email. But it is a much faster way to grow awareness and a brand and to promote content. But again, that doesn't have to be just on LinkedIn. If you have a blog, you can post that exact same thing on the blog and just move it in there. If you mention other people in it, you want to mention them in the LinkedIn newsletter so that they get a notification. It's one of the big benefits of collaborative content, which we're creating right now, which is that you have a reason to mention others when you share. So no, I recommend it. I mean, it doesn't cost anything as long as you're a premium member. And
yeah, I'm literally looking at it now. I just opened my LinkedIn while you're talking. I clicked on write an article, under manage, create newsletter. That's exactly like you said. Title the newsletter, how often you want to publish, description, upload an image for the logo. Your connection and followers will be invited. You'll be subscribed to your newsletter. Your newsletter will be featured in your profile.
You're almost
Why
done.
have I not done this? This is amazing.
Yeah, copy and paste in every podcast, drop in everything. Why not? It doesn't cost anything. So one thing I will say, though, that if you're tempted to put it under the brand, feel free to do so, but the growth will be slower. Again, the power of humanity. If anything that you publish on from yourself will feel more relatable. This is an old Mark Schaefer quote. Don't tweet from behind a logo. If it comes from a human, then it will be, the sender name on the email will be a human. People are more likely to click on and less likely to unsubscribe from things that come from people rather than brands.
Love it. Well, we are going to be adding that to our teams list right away. Now, we've got probably 5-10 minutes left. Wondering, you mentioned a little bit about AI. Man, I think everyone's just figuring out how to use it, how not to use it. Some people are scared. And then when we really look at even just like environmental impact and the amount of water it's using, there's so many different angles to look at AI. How does Andy think through AI? When to use it, when not to use it, how to use it? Give us our
Sure.
quick tutorial on this.
First, I'm going to separate the labor market and environmental impact from my daily job as a marketer. After 5 p.m., I will meet you for a beer, and we should absolutely talk about the environmental impact and social impact, and that's an important conversation. But since it's not yet 5 o'clock, I'll give you the more practical point of view because my goal in life is to be a helpful person in terms of content. So there are many, many marketers, I think like 80% in some surveys, are using AI to try to save time and be efficient. A smaller percentage of marketers are trying to use AI for quality and performance. I'm in that second group. I think that there's the things that you can do to make you faster can in fact make you faster and more efficient. And a lot of us use it just as little tiny methods all day long to get unstuck, for example, or to get started on a blank page, for example. I gave you a couple examples of that already. But my number one use case for these tools is to use it to audit things that you're making and make those things better and more comprehensive. So I gave you an example a minute ago of an audit prompt that will tell you the extent to which you included these key elements in a piece of content. An even better example is farther down at the bottom of the funnel, where you use AI to create for you a synthetic member of your target audience, an AI persona, work hard on it, find out your audience's hopes and dreams and fears and concerns and their decision criteria for selecting a counselor or whatever it is you're promoting. And then take that out of the AI once you've polished it up, make it a PDF, and then drag that into other prompts to upload files to AI. You're going to need a paid account, which I think is $20 a month. I don't care which model people use. Everyone wants to know what my preference is. I'm still using ChatGPT because it's the most popular for these things. And then you can really talk to it. You can interview your persona. You can show it your homepage. You can take a full page screenshot of your homepage with the persona, and then drag that into the AI with the persona and say what's missing. What are the most important things I didn't talk about? What are the claims I failed to support with evidence? What are the biggest concerns that I didn't address? So once you have a synthetic member of your target audience that you can use in the AI to talk to about anything, I don't know, give it your publishing calendar, give it your invoice, what's confusing, anything at all. It will give you clues. 80% of them you dismiss. Great, who cares? No problem, because the other 20% could make a difference. So AI-powered persona-driven gap analysis, gold. So, short way to say it, stop using AI to find efficiencies and start using it to find deficiencies. Plug those gaps and you'll get greater performance.
Such a amazing move there. I love that. Oh my gosh. And I love the exporting of it into a PDF that then is uploaded in and run through. We've started doing this with our team where we've realized that our team members have a variety of different life experiences as we want. And what that's led to is sometimes not knowing piles of crap that they might step in, that would really make social workers and counselors really mad. Like, for example, like celebrating Columbus Day. A lot of social workers would say, wait a second, so talking through how do we as a team have some sort of lens that we say this is the practice of the practice lens. What do we stand for? What do we stand against without getting too political? But also in this world right now, there's a lot to be upset about, and to say what do we want our contribution to be in doing problem solving in addition to just saying like, no, we're not okay with this type of language. So one thing I had done is kind of made a prompt, but now I think that I'm going to take that and do it as a PDF to export to really make sure that that's not just a prompt, but it's a full PDF that they can just upload to have a scan through. So that's a great idea. So so many good ideas today,
Yeah,
Andy. Like,
that
why
will
don't we do
standardize
20
the method.
episodes together? This is awesome.
Some fun ones. That will standardize the method if you're sharing it with your team. But another better way to do that, it probably is, and easier than it sounds. I'm going to say two words that might sound like it's confusing. Try is, it's going to work. It's easier than you think. Make a custom GPT. Just go to Explore GPTs, click on the create button on the right, keep it in create mode and just press the dictate button and tell it what you want to build together. It will make for you a tiny tool. Maybe that tool is going to be just your persona and you can go talk to it anytime. It already has your PDF. You can upload the PDF right there. It's called a knowledge source. Custom GPTs are actually super accessible and easy, and people are building them all the time. I build a couple a week. I don't use them all, but it's a way to codify literally almost as code, like you're building a tool, a certain method or a persona or an advisor, and then you can share the link with your team. Everyone can go use that. You know, that's the next level for a lot of AI users.
Mm. So even like for my consulting clients, I could put together a like kind of think like Joe in addition to doing consulting with me, but like go use this GPT.
My last article was how to clone yourself in AI. I included a video. It's actually, it will take you hours because to do it properly, you're going to upload your book, you're going to upload all your best articles. And to get those things into shape so that AI can easily pull from them, there needs to be lots of structure, again, structure, in your knowledge sources. The instructions, which is the box inside the custom GPT, is really going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to have your core principles and its purpose. But if you're making a clone or an advisor, you need to give it quite a lot of content
Mm.
before it will start to respond as you would respond.
Okay. Well, having written a couple books, I think we'll have some good
You're
content to upload there
you're
and to have
ready.
it start to think like me. Well, man, I've got my to-do list today. Andy, if every private practitioner in the world were listening right now, what would you want them to know?
Uh, Weird idea, but it's all of our responsibilities to help train the AI to connect the right people with us. It's not weird or manipulative or spammy or sketchy. It's our jobs to make sure that our content, our homepage, our key pages, explains very clearly who we help, how long it takes, how we help, who we don't help. Because AI and users are trying to find the right providers. Many of them are trying to find you. It is ethical and important for each of us to write copy that helps the AIs help people find us, because the future of online research is with these tools. So you've got this. It's in your control. You can change what AI knows about you. You can retrain the AI to recommend you for the right potential clients. And I'm excited for everyone who's listening because that's an opportunity they can quickly capture before they go home for the day.
Love it. It's so awesome. If people want to subscribe to your newsletter, if they want to follow you on LinkedIn, if they want to get in touch with you, where should we send them?
Orbitmedia.com is where I publish everything. /blog is the content program. And you can find that one, How to Clone Yourself, which also has a video. I have an active YouTube channel, but I'm just using it for streaming and hosting videos mostly. I don't engage on YouTube as much. I do engage a lot on LinkedIn. Anyone listening to this can connect with me on LinkedIn. And the digital marketing tips newsletter you can also find on my profile on LinkedIn, which I publish almost weekly, not quite, bi-weekly at very least.
Mm. So good. Love it. Oh man, you've given us so much today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Joe. This was fun.
Well, I have 2 pages of notes from hanging out, more than 2 pages from hanging out with Andy. We need to hang out more than every 1,300 episodes or so. So a couple things that I really stood out to me on your website. Don't be clever, be clear. You really think through what are those questions during the sales process that you're answering all the time, and do that on every single page. We want that mixture of sales that's telling a story, with you being that original research around data, and then also making sure your posts look like social media, that it has that kind of addictive feel to it, that it's easy to scan and go through. Case studies, I'm thinking about even my own case study of who I am and thinking through clients and how we do that in a obviously HIPAA compliant way, that people's identifying information is not given away. But maybe we mash up a couple clients together of imagine this is what you're dealing with kind of thing. That idea that each paragraph pushes into the next paragraph, an AI audit prompt around kind of giving you a ranking. I mean, to me, I think my personal takeaway is doing the LinkedIn newsletter, and even just thinking how digital marketing tips, private practice tips would be a great newsletter name for therapists, or maybe even to be clear, like therapist private practice tips. We're gonna have our team start working on this stuff, and the custom GPT. I'm definitely gonna go to Andy's article, "How to Clone Yourself in AI." So make sure you follow this man. I mean, he's doing some amazing things. Go check out the website, check out LinkedIn, connect with him. Just so many great tips that I'm personally going to be putting into my world of marketing and helping people that are in the therapy world. Also, we couldn't do the show without our sponsors. Alma is our sponsor today. A year from today, what would your dream practice look like? Are you spending time chasing claims? Are you in network? Are you out of network? Are you dealing with all sorts of different things? Alma believes that therapists, when they get the support they need, better mental health happens for everyone. You can learn more about Alma over at helloalma.com. Your dream practice is closer than you think. Again, that's helloalma.com, and I forgot to say /Joe. So helloalma.com/Joe. They'll help with the billing. They'll help with just making it easier for you to run all the scheduling and documentation within your practice. Thank you so much for letting me into your ears and into your brain. Have a wonderful